Hello and welcome to The Nation. I'm Jason Wee. From the products on our shelves to the parcels arriving at our doorsteps, supply chains play a bigger role for our lives than many of us realize. Today, advances in AI, automation, and digital technology are changing the way goods are moved, tracked, and delivered. But what does that mean for businesses, workers, and consumers like yourself? To discuss this further, I'm joined by Dr. Erna Masfiza Muhammad Ramli from Open University Malaysia. Dr. Erna, welcome to The Nation.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here. It's my pleasure.
I want to start with the global delay that we've all been hearing about. Now, Dr. Erna, we know that ships have to take massive detours around Africa because of global geopolitical tensions, mainly with the Strait of Hormuz closing. For the average viewer watching at home, why should we care about this delay? And how are these delays putting pressure on our local warehouses, say in Port Klang or in Penang?
Many of us, even Malaysians at home, for example, they don't think that a container or ship in the sea that delays or any issues related to them, why should they care? But actually, when this thing happened, like the Suez Canal, the ship have to detour round to Africa, to avoid all the conflicts and security tensions issues at the Red Sea. It has caused an additional delay on the 10 to 14 days delays at all. So imagine when you go to the store, you want to buy your favorite milk. It is not in the shelf. You need a medicine that you need to consume, but it's not in the pharmacy. And your online order also delay. So we need to remember that this is very much of our problem. And talk about the ports. Imagine like Port Klangs or Penang ports. These ports are massive. Port. They work on schedule. So this port for Port Klang. If you're aware, it is the 10th most busiest port in the world. So it has contributed a lot to our economy. With our economy in trade is 137% GDP rely on it. Meaning a trade is our economy engine. So therefore, when this thing happened, delay on the sea, and the port has been working systematically in terms of schedule, and suddenly it arrived on the port in a massive amount. So the worker will be overwhelmed to handle this issue in the supply chain. It become a demand shock, we call it, demand shock, where the worker need to key in the data immediately, key in the records, and so on. So at the end of the day, it will increase the price, it will delay your product.
So because of longer shipping routes and products are spending more time out at sea, which means that businesses are waiting a long time just to get paid for their products as well.
Yes, correct.
And so the question is about AI and this rise of technology that we are seeing in the supply chain among shipping companies. How can SMEs, small and medium enterprises, use basic tech or even more advanced tech like AI to track their products and protect their businesses from essentially not having a cash flow issue during these delays? Okay,
so imagine that AI is very prominent nowadays. In the supply chain, we always talk about it. So for small and medium enterprise, they need to consider to have tracking, AI in tracking their shipments. For instance, in terms of tools, there are many available and affordable tools in the market, although more high technology tools are more quite pricey. For example, I've been teaching. I'm a lecturer, senior lecturer, and also a program director for Bachelor Logistics and Supply Chain, Faculty of Business Management. So it is, for example, AI tools that we consider by SMEs. There are few like EasyTrack, Aftership. There are few. So this tool will help small business, for example, when their product is in the sea, for example, in the oceans, and it delay. For example, take another additional two weeks. So this small business, they need to pay for their employee, and they cannot sell their product at that time. So generally, I think this AI integrated tool that integrated with AI definitely will help in terms of small business.
When I hear this technology and AI, I think the image that many people have is thinking about robots and moving around products. Correct. And I think there's an immediate skepticism that that's just a fancy, expensive trend for big tech giants. In your view, is the smart tech just for show, or is it slowly becoming very integrated in businesses today that it becomes survival?
Okay, this is my take, and I always advise and talk to people who they have a skeptical, and they say this is just fancy, just for show. So I did write an article previously in one of the magazine about Amazon. Okay, Amazon. This is one of the, we call it foundation and pioneer. What Amazon did is that they bought a Kiva robot from a Kiva system and then rename it to Amazon Robotics, cost them 775 millions. So this actually have become foundation because their productivity increased by 2 to 3 times by ensure that the robot go pick up the product and send to the packing station instead of the worker need to go to the shelf rack and then pick up. So it has been very excellent. So in this matter, it's not for the show, okay, and for the small medium enterprise, they should consider not robot, but actually at least consider to ops like AI tools, tracking.
Especially, I mean, my understanding is that a lot of for supply chain, the bulk of work is just tracking.
Yes.
It's documentation,
yes,
right?
Yes, correct. You're right.
Talk to me a bit about how that compares with, say, a human, especially that sometimes people make typos. What is the damage that sometimes humans make versus the upside of investing in these technological tools for the supply chain?
Okay. I worked in the warehouse before. Okay, in the manufacturing company, I was working previously in Flextronics and Texas Instruments, so I see firsthand what happened when typo happened. One single error. Okay, imagine when the product arrived, for example, in the warehouse. The worker, this is talking about manual. Example, you're supposed to key in 10,000, but they key in 100,000. So in the system, it show 100,000 inventory, while in actual only 10,000. So the production want to run it, the production suddenly there's none. It's only 10,000. So what's going to happen is that production will idle. The machine will just wait, stop or idle. The worker, employee will just wait for the next inventory come in. So the margin for human error is almost like zero because you're losing it. And further for pot, for example, imagine medicine that arrive in the pot. This medicine have temperature control, so need to stay cool. But then because of documentation, this medicine have to wait for extra time. So what's going to happen is that, definitely, I cannot say it's beyond. You cannot say like how much money effect is actually beyond that you can imagine.
And I think before we go into a short break, I want to ask, how are Malaysian firms actually implementing this technology at this point?
Malaysia firm, if it is related to the multinational corporations, big industry players, definitely they are into it, especially multinational. They won't even actually wait in every changes. But the concerning is for the small medium enterprise, not just because of the affordability. I think the awareness for them to take such tools.
After this, I want to get deeper into exactly what kind of technologies are in the market right now and what does Malaysia need to do to actually improve our supply chain. We'll be right back and after this break. Welcome back. I'm Jason Wee. Today you're watching The Nation and we're talking about supply chains and technology. Joining us is Dr. Erna Masfiza, and professor at Open University Malaysia. Now, we've been talking about the realities of the global shipping delays and how firms are implementing technology into their supply chains. I want now to break it down the technology step by step. Really, what happens when somebody clicks buy now on an e-commerce platform, on Shopee, on TikTok, wherever it is? Can you explain how the digital order instantly talks to a warehouse and guides a pickup without a human perhaps never touching a keyboard in that process?
Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, so imagine when you buy a product. Okay, you go to the online, you put in the cart, or maybe then you click buy now. So the moment you click buy now, imagine that you are sending like WhatsApp message to someone, but the WhatsApp message is not delivered to a person, but this is delivered to the system. Okay, this system, what we call computer system, what we call is a ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP system. This is like a brain of the inventory system. For example, they know the quantity, is it available, where is it? And then this ERP then communicate with the Warehouse Management System, WMS. And WMS is like GPS of the system in warehouse. You imagine warehouse is so huge. So they need a GPS for this. So WMS is the one that will send information to the robots if you're using robots. Nowadays, like I mentioned to you, Amazon and all, they're using robots. So from the robots will then go based on the instruction given by WMS to pick up the product. For example, in the aisles number 4, rack number 2, shelf number 3, for example, go pick up and bring back to the packing station. But I want to add on that what is amazing is not because of the robot, the system itself, but the very transparency and traceability, where you can see each of the process is being scanned, so you can get a fully report from it. So for supply chain, it's very important because we have many steps. So this actually help in terms of us providing accurate data report without any human data, and it's more accurate.
So this all sounds great, but I understand that there's a bottleneck in Malaysia. Now, a major issue highlighted by the Age Malaysia is that while private tech companies are moving quite fast at AI, government custom systems at the border may still be catching up to the speed. And so even though you might have a completely autonomous workflow at the supply chain level, you might get stuck because a human still needs to fill in a form or chop. What happens when a tech system like that hits a manual checkpoint, and how do we go about fixing it?
Okay, this actually is one of the issue become a frustration, okay, among the private sector. The reason is because imagine private sector, usually they spend huge amount of money to buy a expensive, very high-tech system that help them in terms of fast. Everything move speed very high and suddenly reach the port, the border. We call it digital edge cliff. That means you fall because you are using a high-tech and fast digital system, and suddenly everything become manual. At the part, suddenly someone need to print the form, need to key in the data, all manual. And this is very dangerous and risky because it was in the digital system, and then you take it out and put it in manual. It invite for more human error. So how to fix this is actually we need a collaboration between the public, government, and also private to have a very a talk of collaboration on the digital integration. We need two systems that be able to talk. But the good thing about Malaysia is that they are working on it. I did see there's a U-Custom system, they're working on it. We need to be more faster because Malaysia, we have all it takes to make it happen. It's just that to move faster so that we are not behind.
Just curious, how do we compare to our regional peers in this digitalization of our borders? Are our peer competitor ports as digitalized as us?
It can be say as it depends. Like in Southeast Asian, some struggle. That's the same as Malaysia, but we've compared to more Europe and so on. Of course, we can be say way behind, but Malaysia is into it. I can say it because I did check the U-Custom system. They are working on it. Maybe have some issue they need to resolve.
Right. So you did mention about human error, Dr. Ernal. One of the questions that has been raised by international trade experts is the question of who blames the robot in the case when an AI system makes a massive mistake like miscalculating a tax code or shipping the wrong cargo. Who gets blamed here? Where does the liability sit when a computer algorithm makes an expensive error?
Okay, this is such a very interesting question. Okay, this is the most interesting question for during this interview. Okay, I can say that this. Okay, I have checked, and honestly, I know that the legal framework in Malaysia and most of the countries globally, we don't have the exact, law about this technology. It coming rapid and fast. Okay, to be in a very simple word, you can imagine robot is not a human. They are not legal entity. You cannot sue them. Definitely cannot sue them. So who responsible is people behind this robot. And we can put a few scenario. For example, if the system having bugs or error, then the vendor that created the system, that built the system, need to be responsible. But when the employee, because the AI system need to be fed in, so the employee put the wrong information, then the company responsible, as well as if the manager or top management, they decide to do a decision based on AI report, but they did not check. So this responsible go on them. But the most important is to have good governance, because we cannot keep on finding who to be blamed, accountability, but it's more about good administration and governance. So we must make sure there is proper audit trail in every step, from key in the data, who key in, where it goes, and so on.
Do you think in that case where we are comparing human error versus robot error and weighing the pros and cons of both systems, how do we even start differentiating the two, right? Which one has a potential low side, which has a top side? For a supply chain company in Malaysia, for example, who's probably employing mostly humans right now, but is thinking about upgrading their technological systems, but it's worried that it might disturb or disrupt their very, very clean processors already, or something that's worked for 20 years.
Yes, correct.
What would you say to this firm?
Okay, I would advise for the firm, whoever, especially small and medium enterprise, they should invest in these tools. But I understand the concern and so on. But this system definitely will help you in terms of the long term, because we cannot, at the end, don't want to use it because out of fear. So what you need to do is that as a business owner, you need to start looking at the problem first. Look at your example, you're having a small organization, small company. Look what the problem, one problem, try to solve it. And then from there, definitely, you try to invest in one tools and start using and build confidence. And from there, you can see the results. Because it definitely will help. My genuine, honestly, advice is we need to work alongside with the AI tools.
So we've been talking about AI, risks and benefits in the supply chain. And when we come back after this break, we're going to talk about the future. Are AI going to replace humans in our supply chain firms? That's after this break, on the way back. Welcome back. You're watching The Nation, and today we're talking about supply chains and technology. We're joined by Dr. Bernama from Open University Malaysia. Now, I want to zoom into the future. What does technology hold for us and the world for supply chains? One of the things that has been speculated is that technology can help ensure products aren't made using unfair labor. And international standards has been quite strict, especially when thinking about the supply chain. Talk to me a bit about how could technology like smart digital tracking let exporters from Malaysia prove to global buyers exactly where and how their goods were made? Because sometimes one of the issues was, for example, our palm oil in EU was being flagged as non-ethical. How do we go about doing that?
Okay, now when we talk about ethical sourcing, this is one of the area very close to my heart. It was in my research. I was doing in sustainability, in supply chain, and green procurement ethics, and so on. So what happened now is that we are aware that in Europe and US especially, and even our Malaysia, younger generation, Gen Z, they are really conscious and concerned about product, what they bought. They don't want to know how much is the product price. They want to know where this is made. Do we practice ethical sourcing? Do we use child labor? How the workers are treated? How does the environmental impact? So this has become a very important for us to have what we call it's like a digital passport. Because in example in Europe, they have law that request or like it's not a request. It's like a must for a company to have all this trail. So for Malaysia, especially on the palm oil, on the electronics, rubber, example rubber glove, they need to consider this because if not, they cannot enter this such market. So because this system can help you to check every trail, okay, digital trail of footprints, all this from where it is made, does this product go proper audit, which supplier do it, and raw material, inventory, all. It will give you like a story, like a family branch story. Complete from where until supplier tier 1, tier 2 until tier 8, because supply chain is complex. There are many flows. So this digital tracking, all that is very useful, and Malaysia SMEs should go and consider this, and it's also the right thing to do. Ethical sourcing.
I mean, Dr. Erna, as I hear you speak, obviously I'm floored with the capabilities of technology and what it poses for us. And since we mentioned ethics in the supply chain, one of the more ethical questions, bigger ethical questions that we've been talking about is the question of, is AI going to take my job?
Oh, okay.
And where some people say it's going to be a replacement, completely going to change the industry where humans perhaps are not needed for some domains. Others say, no, this will likely only augment what roles look like from perhaps being a loading your goods, you now control the robot instead. What's your take on this specifically for the supply chain ecosystem?
Okay, every semester, and all the time, the student asking this, the younger generations and young graduates are so concerned about their future. When we talk about AI, robot, of course, we feel that it will take away our job. But I need to be very honest here. Okay, definitely AI will take some of the job, especially the repetitive one. Example like stock counts, generate a standard report daily, key in data all over again. But don't you think that this is a good thing? Because it free us from all the mundane routine things and focus on what matters. But to all younger generations, you have to remember AI might be good in pattern recognitions, doing all daily routine, generate reports and so on. But there are human strengths that we cannot ignore. For example, AI cannot do such a few things. For example, like they cannot motivate and lead a group of people under pressure. They cannot make ethical decision under complex situation. And also, there are many things. So AI cannot do, example, like negotiate with the suppliers, make a good connection, a relationship with the customer. AI cannot do that. So this such a skill is not become less, but become very valuable in this era. So, but remember that the most important is to work alongside with it, understand the tools, then you will strive. There is no issue about tools come and go. Yeah.
So on a final note, for young graduates who are entering the job market right now, what do you think are the specific digital skills that they need to bring to the table to get hired by top MNC firms in the supply chain?
All right. Okay, so this is very important. So because this is in my area, program director for Bachelor of Logistics and Supply Chain, I need to ensure the graduates. So what multinational corporation wants is a bilanguage person, not in like a Mandarin and English language. You have to be good in a business and also data and digital language. So among, I can tell you example, number one is a digital supply chain literacy. You need to go in the system like such as ERP, enterprise resource planning, warehouse management system, and so on. No need to be expert until like, you can put coding. No need to be programmer, but at least you understand it well. Secondly, data analysis, such as excellent in Excel, pivot tables. You need to be able to explain the data. Thirdly, and also AI in supply chain, such as you understand how AI can do and what is the limitation, such as forecasting, green supply chain, and so on, what AI can do. And the last is sustainability and also ESG, environmental social governance. It's very important because many multinational corporations looking into graduates that be able to understand of what they aim for the zero net in their gas emission.
Dr. Erna, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an enlightening journey learning about supply chains. The question clearly isn't about whether supply chains will change or not, but how will businesses and workers change with the technology that's to come. I'm Jason Wee. Join us again next time on The Nation for more conversations that matter.